let's fight for the Classic Women's Championship. Was requested by my patron. So if you want your matches to take priority, also donate if you can. Otherwise I have other stuff to do which I want, but right now I hope it picked the right outfits.
Is an Iron Woman match and is for the WWE Women's Championship. Making her way to the ring from Boise, Idaho, Torrie Wilson.
I'm not sure if we will be able to go backstage here. If not, I can play another one purely backstage with the same wrestlers. I like backstage matches, it's just the game doesn't really. Kinda. This is Peyton Royce's entrance. I should change it to Stasis. Alright. Here we go.
And
legend.
from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Trish Stratus.
There are mods that change her model, but then the custom costumes will not work. So I get requests like Trish in a bikini versus like Alexa in jeans, or the other way around. If you want a jeans costume or a bikini costume, it's most likely I will have to make it custom. Okay, we have glitch on her legs. I'll have to restart, see it. It's still here, right? Yep. I'm loading again. Wanna see if this will fix the issues. This game is testing my patience. I think it's fine now that her legs are smooth. Yep. If you didn't see the glitch, don't worry. You don't have to. But... goddamn red alarm. And you're wondering why we hate Russians so much. Like, when Russia announced mobilization, Ukraine was ecstatic. So much cannon fodder. At this point, we only care to, like, destroy as many of them as we can. Yeah, I'm not sorry for interrupting your fantasy match with this, because that's not me who's bombing other countries' cities. So yeah. And like the Germany says that people who don't want to take part in Russian army, Sieg can join the Great Kriegsreich. Ich bin eine kleine Russophilik or something like that. So basically the German government again decided to help Russians and give shelter to those who want to flee mobilization, despite them being pro-war. They just don't want to fight themselves, they want other people to fight for them. And like Germany, if you keep allowing Russians into your country, sooner or later they will attack you. That's what happened in Ukraine, that's what happened in Poland, Finland, Lithuania, Latvia, Czech Republic, Kazakhstan. anywhere they're led to, like Lithuania or Estonia, they will not go away unless you make them. Like, I like so much German music. The culture ain't half bad. Their uniforms were cool at some point. But now, with Germany collaborating with Russians so much, I just can't. Stop making excuses for them. Stop searching for good Russians. I think Germans just think that Russians are the master race. Or something. It's the only explanation why they keep building pipelines for them, keep letting them into their country, keep denying weapons to Ukraine, weapons that we only use to kill Russians, nothing else. We don't have any other goals in this war. Just defending, and by defending I mean that means shooting a lot of invaders. Invaders who come from Russia for 8.5 years now, as they invaded first Crimea, then Donbass, then Kiev, then Chernihiv, then Sumy, then Kherson, Zaporizhia, Mykolaiv. And they were beaten in half of these places. And we would have beaten them in the others if we had more weapons. But they deny us even ancient, outdated troop transporters. Like, we want those martyrs that are rusting on your warehouses. We want machines that your German firms, German people are fine. They make good stuff. They want to sell us cars. You refuse to sell them to us because you want to make good with Russians. Why? God damn it. Everyone in Ukraine hates Russia, but we also fucking despise German government. They were enablers of Russian with their soft, shitty foreign policy and non-existent army. Forcing all of Europe to buy Russian gas and nowhere else. Breaking all the treaties and agreements to diversify gas supply just so that the German politicians can line their pockets with kickbacks from, like, did you know that the former Chancellor of Germany, that's what they call their Führers now, Gerhard Schroeder, is officially employed by Russian fossil fuel company Gazprom. Not a conspiracy theory, not a lobbyism case. He literally works for them. Worked for them all along. Like, German government are employees of Russian fossil fuel companies. Where's your fucking sovereignty? So yeah, I'm on a rant. I probably ruined your day. And, well, some people's lives were ruined with the bombing they just did. Russians kill people every day. There should be no mercy for them. No sympathy for the mass murderers, killers and rapists. And I'm almost more angry at some European Russophiles, that's a horrible thing to do, than I am towards many of the Russians themselves. At this point, after so many years, it's like, people are joking that this is like the 7th month of an 8-year war that lasts for last 300 years. It really do be like that. They were trying to destroy our nation for centuries. They're burning books with Ukrainian language. They have a diaspora of like 4 million Ukrainians in Russia, and they have 0 Ukrainian schools. Yet they constantly complain that Ukraine doesn't have enough Russian language. We don't fucking need it. My friend worked for like an Israeli company, Israel, in Middle East. And she doesn't even speak Hebrew. You know what? Because almost everyone there speaks Russian, because they colonized Israel. It's in fucking different continents. And what Russians do, they try to make entire country speak their language instead of its own. This is rather disgusting. And if Germany will accept every Russian who wants to escape mobilization, which is about 100 million Russians, there will be more Russians than Germans in Germany, which is a reality. They will forbid German language, they will destroy your culture, they will force everyone to be Russian. Do not let Russians enter your countries. Baltic states did right by banning visas. Why Ukraine didn't ban Russians from Ukraine completely? That's a question, because we actually did in 2018 when they attacked our ships going through internal Ukrainian waters, not even near Russia. And Russians attacked the ships. They lost 2 of their big armored patrol boats against 1 tiny Ukrainian tugboat because they rammed us and killed themselves by ramming into us. Yes, there's that stupid. And they stole our toilets from the ships. That was the goal, the military operation, to steal Ukrainian toilets. Do you want this toilet thieves in your state? No, you don't. If you want to take refugees from Africa, from Asia, from Ukraine. God damn it. No, they want refugees from the master Aryan Russian nation. Because Germany still haven't healed from Nazism, and if you remember World War II, Germans killed like 10 millions of Ukrainians. And they buy stuff. They buy gas and oil from Russia, paying so that Russians kill more of us. This is ridiculous. At least a good thing is that next year, with the current rate of Russian army fighting, Russia will become a women-only state because they conscript all the men. And their conscripts rarely leave Ukraine. We're firing at them, the soldiers are screaming, this is for Syria, this is for like Libya, this is for Georgia, because all these countries were invaded by Russia, and we take revenge however we can. Screw them, that's why. So yeah, I'm good mood today. And now with the air raid alarm, which are anti-air defenses, of course, beaten them, so I mean there's always risk, but so far in my city only like the biggest supermarket was destroyed because, and actually that's a miracle because I actually live near a school and it still wasn't bombed. It's a priority target in Russian military doctrine. Schools and hospitals. That's the first thing they always attack. And the fact that they hit a supermarket but not a school just proves how shitty their missiles are. And as far as I remember, that's shopping mart was nowhere near a school, so they missed by a kilometer. I don't believe that any Russian rockets can be aimed at something other than schools or hospitals. So maybe there was a clinic somewhere here. I don't know, but anyway, there were months since, and I don't think they hit us. And they try to, like, almost every day. There's maybe 2 or 3 days in a month without air raid alarms. Usually it's 2, 3 every day. People just don't give a crap at this point. People barely cared for COVID here, but air raid alarms are even like less followed because the Russia is very weak and with mobilization, it will be a very empty, barren place. They also had population problems, but at this point, it'll be a woman-only state. On the other hand, I really applaud Iranian people for protesting against their tyranny. I hope Iranian women are free. Sisters are burning their hijabs, the stool of oppression. But it's really scary because the half of Iranian, Iranian army and Iranian secret police are about the same size. So, unlike Russian cops, Iranian cops are actually scary. I want Israel to give us like some stuff from Iranian drones because, believe it or not, the Jewish government sold shit to Russians. The only attack drones Russia had before this were Israeli, and now they also have Iranian drones as well. But I understand that Iranian people and Iranian government is not the same thing. Unlike Russia, where the government has extreme support of the people, the only protests were against being mobilized. 9th year into the war. That's it. They didn't protest against war in 2014. The leader of Russian opposition, Navalny, openly called to kill Georgians and screamed that they're rodents because they aren't white enough. He claimed they don't deserve to live. And this is the quote-unquote liberals in Russia. Their conservatives are even worse. Yeah. I spent an entire catfight ranting about geopolitics. Because, well, this aerial run never went anywhere. There was no call-off. I don't mean the wrestler call-off. I mean no calling of the air raid alarm. Trish gets another point. So yeah. Israel blocked drone deliveries to Ukraine, refused to sell them to us. So they're as bad as Germany. They forgot, I guess, World War II, when Ukrainian soldiers saved them. And decided to supply Russia with weapons that will help kill us. But it was like, they shot a four-post above my city. Four-post is completely Israeli-made drone that's assembled on license in Russia. So Jews make the parts, and Ruskies, they use it to throw bombs on Ukrainians. And Jews in Ukraine, they actually killed Holocaust survivors here. Imagine surviving goddamn concentration camp only for Russians to bomb you in 2022. They bombed the Holocaust Memorial too. They sent assassins to kill our Jewish presidents. Because there's a lot of Jews in Ukraine, and Russian army has the Wagner group. It's ordered on by Prigozhin, Putin's personal cook, and his basically the number 2 person in Russia. And they are called Wagner group because Wagner was Hitler's favorite composer, and they literally worship Hitler. Not so-called Ukrainian natives that don't exist, but the Russian natives that do exist. Apart from Wagner group, there's another called Rusich, which is a white supremacist group that proclaims Russians as the master race, and they celebrated Hitler's birthday while bombing Ukraine. Like, openly they said that our leader, our ideological father, that's how they call Adolf Hitler. the Russian anti-fascists who try to denazify Ukraine while celebrating Hitler's birthday. You can't make that shit up, like the hypocrisy levels are insane. They wrote a handbook on how to torture prisoners and published it online because they're really mad of Russia exchanging Azov leaders onto for Putin's cum. Cum means godfather of your children, and he was exchanged like for 200 people. Medvedchuk. And Russian nationalists are really like mad because they consider Azov globalists. So because the Azov are actually linked with like Jewish groups in Ukraine, yeah, the so-called neo-Nazis are actually have more to do with Jews than with Nazis, and of course actual Nazis want to kill them. And they were let go because we captured Putin's family member, which we should do. I think France should set us Peskov's family, because all the Russian nationalists who claim that Russia is the best country, they live in the West, in the degenerate West. Yep. Fuckers. And they hate the West so much they live there, right? And three steps again. This is a variation elevated Boston Crab. Let's go out. That's a sound. So, the reason they had to announce mobilization in Russia is to placate the local Nazis, which basically rule Russian army, and they really hate that they release some prisoners that had Jewish financing. That they, to the Westerners, they present us as Nazis. Because that's a genius plan. Call the Jews Nazis so the West will support you killing so-called Nazis that you kill for being Jewish. Genius! 4D fucking chess. So, like, yeah, like I said, Russia is a Nazi country, and that's why Germans keep supporting Russia. Because they recognize the familiar notes of white supremacy shared by both countries and their national ideology. And a lot of German people are actually not Nazis, but the government are absolute Stasi scumbags. They blocked so much help to Ukraine. And we are preparing now for war with Belarus, because Russia will soon run out of their conscripts, and they will send Belarusian ones too. As I'm saying that, we still have an alarm, right? 20 minutes already. Go to the nearest vault, not how we call them, shelter, bomb shelter. Especially first days, our local government in Odessa, or Odessa, how you want to call it, it's shite. So Nice. It won't count ringside. I noticed that the only way to do a proper submission match is to make it full counts, not full counts, is to make it Iron Woman or Iron Man, because otherwise computer doesn't really use some of the submissions. Nice suplex on the outside, but full counts anywhere doesn't work. I think you proceed here, it's off. I think it automatically turns off for the submission matches. So we're like in parity now. And that's a DDT, my friends. And like friend was saying, like Germans stopped being natives after 45. You should look at their elections. Ben was actual native party member elected last time. Well, former native party member. In the 80s. Yep, when you had watched Ninja Turtles or Back to the Future, Germans still elected a guy who was rewarded with Iron Cross for exemplary service to the native Germany. So people who voted for actual like native soldier as Chancellor of Germany, Helmut Kohl, no, Helmut Schmidt. They're still alive and kicking, like most people who were adults in the 80s are still alive. And they fucking voted for an actual native from... I can make this shit up. And the current party, like, yeah, Social Democrats are technically not National Socialists, they're just socialists. The problem is not that, but that they keep kept pushing for closer relations and more friendly stuff with Russia, even during like Putin's regime. Huilostan, as I call them. Country 404. Raisa. And as Eastern European countries like Poland, the Baltic states, Ukraine were telling Germany, like, you're making a mistake. Dependence on Russian gas is bad. There were nine. That is fantastic. Natürlich, ich bin very much so. Guten. And we're like, fuck, go stuff your schnitzel somewhere else. And in the end, we ended up with a ruined German economy, destroyed European military capabilities, because outside of Europe basically relies completely on America on defense, with Eastern European nations screaming, I told you so on the Westerners, and Russia doing a suicidal war on Ukraine only because they were sure that nobody in the West will help Ukraine, because the way the West acted, it was very obvious nothing would come out of that. And too close to the ropes? No? No, we can do it. Yes, I wanted this. I wanted her to tap out to the Lion Tamer. I think we got a new women's champion in Torrie Wilson. Can Stacy take it back? I think I want a match of her versus Stacy, but not... not a submission match, like a proper match. Stacy never got women's championship. She was offered one for booking, but the story goes she refused because she thought she doesn't deserve it. The more cynical version is that she thought she's gonna earn as much money without it, but she'll need to have more appearances, and her weak sides in the ring might show. And whatever it was, Stacy's career is mostly untarnished. Her as in, she didn't have many
Here's your winner,
heavy
and
matches.
the new WWE Women's Champion,
I think
Torrie
Torrie's,
Wilson.
Torrie also got herself out fine of this whole ordeal. I don't think she had like bad spots to feel embarrassed by. Like you could see like the cat had pretty bad matches early in career, but got better later. And Sunny almost didn't wrestle, but her late career matches were god awful. Anyway, goodbye, see you later. Like, comment, and subscribe, and remember, Rusnipe, Zda.